All right, we back with another one. All right, so we hear this whole thing about something called a play. Uh, Contrary to what people believe, there's no such thing as a play. It's either it's good information that can be used or it's bad information. You know, some people try to make bad information turn into something that could be used for your benefit, and they renamed it as the play. Like this is some hack, some secret, top secret G14 classified, and all this. It's just some information that you haven't learned. So considering you can call it whatever you want, call it different terms, but it is what it is. Like if you don't know the information, Young, what's going on, man? I gotta go back and look at your video this morning. But considering to what people may or may not believe, a play is just plain simple. It is what it is. It's your work. It's your literally your work. So if you got a situation to where you can put somebody in a better position, I mean, it's not really just a play. It's just more or less along the lines of information that a lot of people, don't know in your teaching. You know, there's no awesome thing to catapult your life to be better. The hard, the hard time, the hard thing is the easy thing. It's just hard work and dedication. There's no magic pill like limitless you can take to fortify your mind. You actually have to put in the work. And that's the thing that a lot of people are trying to run away from, putting in the work. What's going on? Long time no see. Community solution. What's going on with you, lady? But this is the thing. A lot of people don't want to put in the work. They sit here and more or less try to get to a point in life where they can make life so easy for themselves that you know I want to find the easiest thing to do. What do they talk about? Drop shipping, that automation. This stuff is so easy, man. It's passive. Everybody wants to do passive things, but it's a process. It takes steps. You want the easiest thing to drop $10,000 in here and let it work on automation. Who's, actually building the functions to get stuff running on automation? And if you're doing it, who taught you? Like, this is the process. A lot of people want this ready made stuff to be so easy, and it's just not, feasible like that. You literally have to go in, put in the work, and be dedicated to your craft, you know, and it starts with you learning about money with your budget. You know, if I were to start an automation business and the business produce about $10,000 a month, me not knowing budgeting, how to, pretty much prep for the new day and, times to come, I can literally overspend each month, and all it takes is one mishap to where, I got to pay a certain subscription or pay a certain, distributor, and I don't have the money on hand. I'm losing. You know, um, I go through a lot of videos. I'm, really into like style and clothes and stuff. And the craziest thing is I've been watching a lot of these videos, and the guy's been talking about like literally the budgets on how to keep their business afloat. And technically, to the degree, a lot of people they can't cut it. You know, the old term rob Peter to pay Paul. It's a real thing because when it comes down to it, how many of us have been trained or have the understanding how to successfully save money? To a degree, if you have $100,000 sitting in the bank, somebody taught you wrong on your savings because to you shouldn't be saving $200,000. You should be putting that in a vehicle that can keep that money growing. The banks are giving 0.7 interest rate. Why would you even put your money in something that's not going to give you a big return on your investment? You know, like your options are going to be limited to the situation you're in, and that situation is, keeping the money in there, getting what maybe on a $400,000. You may be getting $40, 100,000. You may be getting about $10 a year off that. You're not getting much. To a degree. All I had to get that call, cause that's some money. Sorry about that, Coco. Seen you in a minute. What's going on? How you doing? How you doing? So yeah, I'm sorry about that. I had a call, but yeah, it comes down to a point. You have to learn the process on how to save your money, how to invest your money. What is the proper way in dealing with money? Because everybody want to have a lot of money, but to a degree, what are you gonna do with the money? Prime example. I seen a YouTube where a man and a woman both came with these both scenarios. A woman was like, if a woman really knew how to work money, this this man come to you, tell you he got $100,000 saved up. What are you gonna do with that money? You can go ahead and put it in the chat, or people on the replay, put it in the comments. Like, if someone came to you, your significant other that you've been dealing with or married to, and they say, I ain't want to tell you, but I got $100,000 saved up right now. What are you gonna do with the money? Are you gonna want to go on this extravagant vacation? Man, you want to ball out shopping spree, go get you a nice car, or are you gonna invest it? You know, okay, that's cool. Yeah, but are you gonna invest it? See, buy some property. Property is always gonna be a thing. With that, you can come in, buy a duplex or a quad, preferably a quad is good. $100,000 is good enough down payment on a quad, because you can go FHA with that. See, I learned that in my research on looking for homes and buying homes. You can actually get a quad, go FHA, put down 3.5, and stay in one of them and rent the other three out. And then when you go in to get the loan, you're not having to qualify for the whole. Okay, prime example. Let's say that the property is about 500,000. Out of 500,000, you got 4 units. All you have to qualify for is 125,000, because if you divide that, it's 125 per unit. So all you would have to qualify to, have within the budget for you to get that quad is 125,000. That 125,000 will have you set up to a point to where you're good. Man, these people driving crazy. You literally have no issues. You know, I don't know, but like I said, it's just doing the research. A lot of people don't know this stuff, and the people that do know it, I always say this: you got to have the money, savings, putting money aside. Rainy days, having a budget set up for certain things. That's why I talk about. If you look at the thumbnail, it's a screenshot I got from a video I was trying to work and chop it up, but I said, well, I'll just put this as the thumbnail. Good budget. It's an app. You know, a lot of people don't really use the apps. You can literally go in and type budget apps. There are so many budget apps far as finance that can help you budget your money. Mint is one of the most best. Mint has a spending limit. Me and my friend, I was laughing because this guy was overspending like crazy on eating out until he got the Mint app and started filing things and figured out, a way to, shut some of this excessive spending down, you know, and it comes with a degree. Like if you want this, good vacation and you always going out to eat every night, all that stuff adds up, you know, even to the point of, DoorDash is the big thing now for these young kids. I think one of my cousins, young, no bills. Oh, it's this guy. Sorry about that. A little distracted by traffic. But this young lady with no bills, literally. Bronze, what's going on? I ain't seen you in a minute. How you been? So, literally with no bills, she was spending about $600 or more a week on DoorDash. And one day she racked up, I think, 240 in one day until her, granddad said something about it because, you know, somebody kept coming to the door, ringing the doorbell, and he looking at the camera. He's like, who's this dude? I know this dude ain't coming to see my granddaughter. So by the time he go upstairs to say something, she grabbing the bag and walking upstairs, eating the food. And so, that's just I think the weekend or something like that she spent a night over there. And it got to a point to where he had to sit down and talk to him. It was like, why you don't cook? Go to the grocery store. We got food in the house. She's like, I don't like cooking. New generation. I don't like cooking. So he said, basically, so you're just gonna spend all your money. He's like, what about your mama? Your mama don't make you pay no bills? Well, she asked for a little bit this here and there, and that's about it. So she got literally no responsibilities. All she doing is taking her money, buying DoorDash, and making them rich. Didn't have no budget. Not thinking about, well, what if I want a car later on? What if I save my money to get a place? What if I put myself in a position where I can take a nice trip? I don't pay any bills. I could be saving my money, putting it towards something. You know, that's the thing. A lot of times, you know, these younger generation of kids, yeah, that is true about it being cheaper. But the young generation, all they know is what's that term a lot of them use now, that YOLO. You only live once. Like they literally, if money's in their hand, they gotta spend it. And this is one of the budgets I talk about a lot too. Is the payday method, where every Friday you get paid. Any money in your account has to be spent. There's no money that could just sit in your account and gain any kind of interest. Um, you know, you're looking forward to pay bills, and if you're not looking forward to pay these bills, what are you doing with the money? You're literally taking that money and throwing it at the mall, throwing it at Amazon, any shopping network or anything that you can connect with to spend your money. You know, and a lot of people work just to pay bills to a degree. You will sit here, only work to pay bills. You know, you ain't got literally nothing to, save. Can't stop what's going on. But see, that's the key. You know, most parents they teach their kids, man, you pay your bills, pay it on time, and that's about it. That's the 101 class on finance. Pay your bills, try to pay them on time as much as you can. My friend he gave me some advice that his mom gave him about credit cards. She said, "Don't get them," and he was like, "Why?" Just don't. They're the worst thing that have ever happened to you. Till he got with his girl, who she literally was properly introduced to finance, came into the relationship with her. She already had an eight something, I think an 810 or something credit score. And it's funny how she goes and get a car like about every 5 years or so, just about almost after she paid the other car off. I think she pays her cars off in 3 years. But the crazy part about it is she tries to get out of paying so much on the interest rate. But the crazy part, every time she go get a car, she never pays double uh on the interest rate. You know, like I told him, I was like, man, my first car, man, uh, finance, I think it was like 23. Second car came up to 18. So I'm like, yeah, let's get lower. He was like, man, my girl, she paid like single digits. Like, he's like, the last time she got a loan, it was like four something. He was like, dang, was she buying a house? He's like, no, she bought a car. I'm like, 4% interest rate? I'm like, dang, on a car? He was like, yeah, man. Her mom, her dad invested and they showed her how to properly use her money. That's why her credit was so good. You have parents that are deeply invested. I always talk about my aunt. Aunt went to school for finance. My aunt had her own store, um, and she taught her kids. She went to school for business finance, and she went to school for communication. So I think she worked at Sears and Roebuck down here in Georgia when they had the big Sears building. The people that's in Georgia that know about Georgia, uh, the famous East Ponce is just like the famous Peachtree, but East Ponce is pretty famous down here. And she worked down there at the Sears building. But the thing of it was, she taught her kids finance. My cousins, they came out the gate like I was like, how y'all got money this young? Like one of my cousins, he ended up starting a business. Say about in his mid 20s. He worked for a couple of jobs. It just wasn't kicking it for him. So he got to a point where he was like, man, I'm gonna just go ahead and invest in having me a business. Yeah, I mean it gets like that. The situations with these cars nowadays is out of it's ridiculous. You know, on prices sometimes, but hey, I always try to put my wife in the most, newest car, decent, not no problems with it. I'll drive an old car I can fix on my cars. Like people that know, I got like a 98 Dodge Ram, drive that truck. I had a 2000 something, but I wrecked it, raining and spent out in the rain. But overall, speaking to that, a lot of people dealing with their finance, it comes from their parents. If your parents are bad in finance, you're going to be bad in finance until you do what? Set yourself down, properly educate yourself, and, make it worth your while. Because that's the thing. You learning finance, it benefits you. It don't just benefit your parents. It don't benefit, you know, your kids long run. For the most part it do benefit your kids, but mainly right now it benefits you. Like you having a situation to where you say, I want to do better. So what are you doing? You putting yourself in a situation to where you can, take care of your future for your kids. Have a situation to where everything's okay. I can properly pay a bill if I want to. If I don't want to pay it this week, I can pay all my bills. I got a cousin, the one that deal with his mom with finance. He pays all his bills from the first to the fifth. There's no situation where he say, "Well, I ain't got enough money in my account." He pays all his bills from the first to the fifth. When it comes down to it, he has to pay something. There's a situation that needs to be done. It's done from the first to the fifth. Any little extra pay that he wants to deal with, extra bills, he can handle that. All his bills are paid from the first to the fifth. Let's say a bill hasn't came out yet. What does he do? Guesstimate it. I paid last month, or everybody knows if you look at your bills, you can go online. It gives you a reference on how much normally you pay on your bills. It's just him and his wife. So they're not using the electricity and all the bills as much. So he pretty much justified that and going from there. And when it comes down to it, it's literally crazy. Like on social media, Wanda Budget and Beyond, I watch her channel. Sam Budget, I watch her channel. I know she changed the name to I think it's called Nita, Netta, Netta and Budget. Um, Budget with me. Watch that channel. I watch literally so many channels on budgeting because I want to get my finance together. I want to properly teach my kids better ways of dealing with their money. And overall, like I said, I want to be educated on this. I don't want to be a slouch when it comes to me knowing how to properly, deal with my money. It comes to a point to where so many of us slacken our finances, and it's not like we can't get the proper help. Why we can't get the proper help? The help is all around us. We can sit here, Google how to um, find out the best opportunities for jobs. We can Google, you know, what celebrity makes the most money. Why we not Googling how we can make the most money? Honestly, out of all the sites, I would give it's a neck and neck between YouTube and Instagram. Because there's so many people on Instagram that have platforms that give, free game, free information, free 99. You can pay for it, but why pay when it's free? You know, and sometimes, say the least, paying might give you a little more in-depth information as well. So, you know, to the key to all this is you having an understanding of what do you really want. Do I want to be financially stable, or am I just, in this situation to do what? Get by, you know? Yeah. Even to a point of, dealing with small business, you have to properly be informed on how to take care of your business. What things need to be paid, how things need to be arranged. You need to have multiple bank accounts. There should be no reason why you have a business and you're funneling money from your business account, which is your personal account. Two separate entities, because that's going to be a nightmare for an accountant to go through, and it's definitely going to be a nightmare it's going to be a victory for the IRS because they can have cream of the crop. They see odd transactions that you have and that you're doing, they can, take advantage of that and manipulate that and use that to their benefit. So a lot of times, like I said, getting that knowledge and learning is the key. How many people literally go to school, learn all they can learn, and apply it to their life? Not many. Because a lot of people will go and get a degree that's only worth the ink that is printed on, and then go and do something else in a different field. I've seen so many people go to school, and it's to a degree. I don't want to call it having useless degrees because, technically, you literally have a degree that you pay for that is of value, but you're just not using it in that field. You know, I seen this comedian once talk about this. People going into school, you know, to be a physicist or um in some fields, and then you turn around and go into another totally different field. You know, I know a guy, prime like I said, sticking to a budget is the key. Learning the information is the key. Spreading the information is definitely the key. Like I said, take time today, figure out how much money you're actually spending. There are a lot of these budgeting apps like Mint that can link to your bank account, and you will be scared on the results that you find out. Like, you're overspending in every single department. You know, you're not saving for anything, let alone, we're going to talk about this another day. People with 401ks, IRAs, life insurance, like um, any account that can help you retire, or even with stocks, passive income, all this. We're going to talk about that later because a lot of people don't even really have any information on that. Taking your 401k, not living to the term, you got to pay taxes when you pull that out. You know, and to get to the end and having to pay all those taxes on that money because you pulled it out too early, or let alone it's not properly being taxed. Like, knowing that towards the end, um, your 401k, let's say you have $1 million. The government say, well, we didn't tax that, so you owe us 30% of that money. How many of us are going to be happy with giving the government 300,000 out of seven? That's all the money you got to live off for the rest of your life. And due to inflation, it's going up. You would be like astounded. Like, some people back in, I think I think it was the 60s or 70s, would have never thought that life would be the way it is now. I'm talking about, you had people paying $5 a month on their 401k. Now that $5 a month in that 401k ain't doing nothing. Sit there not gaining no big interest. You didn't have it sitting in the market off the S&P or anything. You just putting that little $5 in, and the company not matching. So what was going on with that money you was putting in? You go to retire, you've been putting in this account for 20 years. Let's do simple math. 20 years. $5 a month times 12, that's 60. 60 go into 20, 1,200. That's $1,200. Say the least, your 401k after 20 years of investing, say the least, they give you $50,000. 20 years ago, $50,000 was a lot of money. It was a decent amount of money because you budgeted. A lot of people, when they do their accounts, they 401k, all that. They show them the years, you know what is it called? Something having a brain freeze on it because they send me my statements for my life insurance. Something scheduled calendar. It's no, I'm thinking of the other one for your house. Um, but basically, they give you a calendar, pretty much a printout, letting you know every year how much money you're putting in, just like Social Security. I'm getting my Social Security letters now. But I mean, I'm putting a little money in there. They let me know, if you retire right now, this how much you get. This how much you get over the course of so many years when it's time for you to retire. Amortization. Thank you. I had it on the tip, couldn't remember. I'm like, it's in my head. So that amortization schedule pretty much showing, and I'm back on the check, but that's literally showing you the money you putting in. So a lot of people are looking at it, but not thinking about inflation. That's why I pretty much try to hit people into getting universal life insurance, you know, because like right now, by the time I retire at 78, I'll get Social Security and I'll be getting my well, I've been to have my Social Security by I think hopefully they don't go up anymore because I think it's at it they're trying to make it to 68 or 70 something now, or 72 because of one of the politicians. This guy's him and Nancy Pelosi, all those older people in Congress, they don't want to retire. They want to keep moving. They want to keep living, within their job. They don't want nobody else to take their seat. But you literally have it to where I think with my life insurance, I think I'll be getting like 4.3 by the time I get to be 78, and that's the estimated at the current market of how much money I'm putting in there now. If I get any extra money or I put any extra money on there, guess what? That money goes up. Each month I'm getting 7% return off the S&P 500. And let's say the market is doing horrible. Guess what? I don't lose any money. See, that's the balance. See, I'm learning this process as I'm going along, looking at Alonzo's information, comparing Alonzo, how he's talking about life insurance from the knowledge I already have, and seeking more people because I want to be financially stable. I want to have a budget. Like I've been telling my wife, me and my wife had the discussion tonight, well, last night. I told her, I said, I literally want to retire between 50 and 55. So that's about 10 to 15 years. I got to do what it takes for me to retire. If I got to work more jobs, if I got to work harder, if I got to better my career, pick another career, that's what I'm looking at doing. Right now, I'm looking at different, ways of making more money. You know, I'm looking at trying to, better myself. And a lot of times we have these situations, like I said, just people not informed. You know, that's the whole thing of having a budget. Due to inflation, like I said, going back to it, that $50,000 is nothing in this day and time to retire on. I've seen people blow through $50,000 one day in the mall, let alone, you know, keeping, stable, buying a car, putting down on the house. That 50 is gone. I had a friend, he put 40,000 down on his house, and he's still paying 1,800 a month for for his for his mortgage. And he doesn't even have a real expensive house. I think he had like a $200,000 house, and you know, you put down that 40%, so he wouldn't have the PMI. He did everything it took for him to be in a situation to where he could benefit. Interest rate low. He got it, I think, at a 4.3. Taxes. Taxes started going up. He went from paying 14 to 1800 a month. Taxes and insurance went up. That's things that you have to budget for that are unknown. You know, car note. You pay that car note. That car note is not never gonna change unless you refinance. The mortgage, that mortgage is not gonna change. But when you factor in the taxes and factor in the insurance into that mortgage, it's gonna change almost every year or every other year. And if it don't, then what is that? That's posing a problem to your environment, the place where you stay. People complain about taxes so much, but then they complain about how the school system is horrible. If you don't want to pay taxes, what do you think your tax dollars go to? In most cases, I seen this video to where the guy was like, "Oh, you think the taxes are for you?" He's like, "Wait, what did you just say?" He said, "No, no, don't worry about it." He was like, "Nah, what did you say?" He said, "Well, you think because you pay taxes, they're for you? They're not for you. They're for us." He's like, "What do you mean us? You the government." And in so many words, basically just telling you, hey, the taxes is for us to spend on things that we want to spend on and to kind of make y'all feel good by paying other things, but that's a whole nother topic. But getting into it, like I say, is you know, preferably that budget. A lot of times we have to be budgeting for the right thing. You know, I've seen so many people budget for uh a vacation, budget for the wedding. One of my friends, he literally had a massive wedding. I'm talking about. I think it's like in all with the honeymoon, like over $120,000. They took out a loan for their wedding. I'm talking about that wedding was off the chain. Like the bride and groom, the it was just everything was immaculate. It was like one of those I think it was Tyler Perry. One of them had a good little scene about weddings and stuff like that. I'm talking about immaculate. But when it came down to it, a situation happened, not trying to, shoot his wife the way she it was a let's say a tragic event that happened in her life. And, she felt bad and it wasn't the point that she was taking it out on him, but it was a point that, she had issue and hey, he caught the blood first trauma of it. And all in all, when it came down to it, they had their discussions about it, talked about it, everything. They ended up getting divorced. But guess what, y'all? They were still paying on that wedding. They were still paying on. You know how crazy it is that every month I gotta pay for a memory of a divorce. Like, you know how bad that is? Like, I'm sitting here every month mad because I gotta go pay a loan that me and my wife set up. You know, 3 years ago we got married. End up, not working out. I'm paying on a loan, and every time I pay this loan, I gotta remember her, and me and her got a divorce. And then it brings back so many memories of issues and trauma, love and hate. Why not just budget? Man, why not just budget and make it worth your while? Not trying to, you know, live above your means. Sit here and literally have a successful marriage where I put in so much, you put in so much. If the father puts in, then so be it. But the crazy part, I think her dad gave them, I think about 40, 50,000, and they still went above, over and beyond the budget. So it was out of his hands. He wasn't, it comes a time, even with me having a daughter, that I'm considering, you know, helping out with the wedding. But, we was having this conversation on Miss T channel. And when my daughter gets to be about 30, oh, you paying for your own wedding. You on your own. Anytime before 30, you know, I'm here for you. I'm dad, you know, I'm gonna have to, you know, do this for my daughter, step in, but after 30, uh-uh. You, as they say, you are grown. You are grown. I'm not paying all this money for no grown woman wedding. Uh-uh. We not doing this. We not gonna do it. Sorry. 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 So we're gonna have a situation to where it's just plain and simple. I'm gonna have to go ahead, uh, tell you, you and your man, y'all pay for it. Because that's the whole point of me teaching what? You how to budget. I'm teaching you how to budget. You having a point to where you know how to budget and it's gonna benefit you long term to know the budget so you can do this stuff for yourself. But all in all, like I said, Google some budget apps, Google how to keep your finances in order. Overall, have a situation to where, you can benefit yourself. It's so many of us, we kind of drop the ball in life on trying to better ourselves, put ourselves in a situation to where we can help others because a lot of times, let's be understanding. How can we help somebody else if we can't even help ourselves? So let's have an understanding about that. Let's start, doing some of the things that benefit and help us better, and having situations to where we can overcome obstacles because it starts with the money first. Having the knowledge and having the financial, fortitude to have some things taken care of in our lives that can benefit us, benefit all the people around us. I mean, it like, I don't know. But until next time, you know what I always say, people, you know, get yourself together. Have an understanding what you want out of life and go for that. Don't let nobody kill your dreams. Don't deal with these dream killers because the dream killers are only here to kill your dreams, not help you, not support you, not sit here financially. There are so many people are gonna give you false and bad information, and they're gonna continue living their life good. If I teach you the wrong thing to do while I'm doing the right, I seen a situation where there was a guy telling me one time about taking a position. He said, "Man, don't go take that position. Man, that's for suckers. You gonna be a lackey to the management." And as soon as that came out, I seen the guy go up there and try to get the same position he told me not to take. And the only reason I found out was because they came there and told him, why did he apply for this? He got too many late um attendance and something else on his record. He looked at me and laughed. And I'm like, why are you applying for a job you told me not to get? And that goes to show you, like, people are vindictive. But at the same time, it was funny because he didn't get the job anyway. But say the least, you know what I always say? We here and we gone.